Welcome back to the Ben Mulroney Show, and it's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Some say it's the top of the week, and this is the high water mark of the top of the week. It's This Week in Politics, the Wednesday edition. We've got Andy Gibbons and Regan Watts. Gentlemen, welcome. And Regan, what are you wearing?
I am wearing merch. I love merch. Greif's Bagels. I know there's a big debate about whose bagels are better, Montreal or New York. I'm going to add a third option, which is Greif's in Toronto. They are the best bagels in the world, and the cream cheese, my goodness, is like the snow that's falling in my backyard.
Man, I don't know Greif's. I'm sure they make a great product, but to cast aspersions on Montreal is
Well, I'm not casting aspersions, Ben. I'm in the fact checking business, and the fact is, Greif's for me are the best bagels in the world.
Andy, care to comment?
This is total nonsense. So what a way to start the segment. A bagel debate.
Yeah, bagel debate.
What is Griff's paying you?
It's not Greif's and nothing. I am an avid consumer.
All right, he's an avid consumer. All right, well, let's jump into the topics of the day. Now that we've established that Regan is off his rocker, we'll see what he does with these stories. What do we make? And I'll start with you, Regan. What do you make of Conservatives losing their near automatic ability to run in the next election? Do they have to? Are they getting primaried, to use an expression from down south?
Well, I think, Ben, the couple things about the story that jumped out at me, the headline was a bit misleading. This does not apply to the next election. It actually applies to the election afterwards. However, having said that, I do think there's a couple things that your listeners who are Conservative Party members and those who are not party members but are interested in democracy should know. First is the Conservative Party is a grassroots party, and it always has been. When your father led the Progressive Conservatives, and then when the Stephen Harper Conservatives came along, and they continued their grassroots approach to electing members of Parliament. This is consistent with that view and that ethos. What the measure does, and I'll defend Mr. Poilievre on this because I think it's a wise move, it does give the leader the ability in a minority parliament to appoint candidates. Yeah. And, every party is out trying to look for and to build a great team with accomplished Canadians. And there's certain, accomplished Canadians who for various reasons may need to be appointed to their ridings as Conservative candidates. So yeah. I'm fully supportive of this. I think it's a wise move. It's high time the party gave itself this measure. Doesn't have it before. Previous leaders didn't have this right.
Are you sorry, Andy? Are you talking? Sorry, Andy. Regan, are you talking about star candidates, like the ability to? Because depending on your perspective, you would say appoint or parachute in. Candidate. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean that's a provision in this change that the party constitution is making. So look, I think Mr. Poilievre and the party are on safe ground here. And I think this is a big nothing burger that the party should be applauded for. Because guess what? The Liberal Party has a history of appointing star candidates, and causing local riding issues, and it doesn't seem to impact them at the ballot box. And I'm not sure why the Conservatives haven't followed suit up to now. But Mr. Poilievre deserves credit for making this or proposing this change to the membership.
And this seems like a small thing, as Regan just said. It's not it's a nothing burger, but it could yield really positive outcomes. If it's easier look, you want the best of the best, right? And not to say everyone needs to be a luminary from outside of politics and parachuted in, but every now and then you may have a banker, or you may have a business leader, or an athlete, or a speaker who may, who for whatever reasons is busy being that successful person in their life. And the path of least resistance should be the most effective way to get them into politics. Hey, guess what? We like the cut of your jib. We want you to run for us.
Yeah, I think there's a balance here. But the good news is that Pierre has such broad and deep support within the party and the grassroots that he can implement a change like this. Were the leader an outsider or had dubious levels of support within the party, it would be harder to pull off. But I'm with you, Ben. I hope it is a sign that maybe the culture is shifting a little bit. And one of the criticisms of the party in the last election is that even though they were certain to win, they did not have the star candidates.
I was surprised about that as well. I thought that what we were going to see was, people coming out of the woodwork, willing to, put their whatever their lives were temporarily on hold to help build what was supposed to be this blue wave, and that didn't materialize. So maybe, and not to suggest that needs to happen at every election. Yeah. Go ahead, Regan.
But look, Ben, the one category of candidate you forgot to mention was radio host, and I think that a well-known radio host who's good on his feet with a great last name and a fabulous head of hair would make an excellent member of Parliament, an excellent mayor of Toronto too, I might add. But don't forget radio hosts in your list of potential.
Right. I did omit that. I don't think I forgot it. I think I deliberately omitted it because I suspected you were going to say something like that. Okay, let's move on to a vacancy that is going to be pretty significant, and what Mark Carney does with it will say a lot. Kirsten Hillman, the ambassador to Washington, whom I've had the pleasure of spending time with in Washington, is a highly accomplished woman. And she's been vital to all sorts of efforts down in Washington on behalf of Canada, is stepping down in the new year. And I think let's blue sky it right now. Who would be the ideal candidate to replace her? And I'm just going to, top of the list, I'm thinking Stephen Guilbeault. Andy, what do you think?
You know, what I'd like to see the Prime Minister do here is that if he truly is running a national unity government and it's a moment for Canada, I'd love to see him appoint a Conservative. Yeah. And I'd love to see a senior Conservative step up and do the job. When Barack Obama won the election, Stephen Harper appointed former NDP Premier Gary Dewar to Washington. Trudeau appointed a lobbyist and campaign co-chair, David McNaughton, a very accomplished man. I'm not criticizing him. And then Kirsten Hillman.
Yeah.
I think we need to go back to a senior political figure with some proven chops and gravitas. And I think I think that is where the Prime Minister... I think that's where the Prime Minister should go if you accept the premise that this is a Canadian moment and all parties sort of have to unite. So that's where I think he should go, is he should find a Tory who's willing to do this for Canada for a couple of years.
Regan, what do you think? I don't think there's anything wrong with what Andy just said.
I think Andy makes some good points. I think we should also acknowledge that Kirsten Hillman, has served the country for a long time, longer than most Canadian ambassadors to the United States serve, and we thank her for her service and we wish her well. I think the most important thing that matters for whoever comes after her is whether he or she have the ear of the Prime Minister. In certain locations, in Washington is one of them, London is another, Beijing, Tokyo, G7, G20 countries, the credibility for your local ambassador rests really on one thing, and that is, does your host country and the local government believe that you can pick up the phone and call the Prime Minister of Canada if there is a big issue? And I think Andy makes a wise point about maybe appointing a Conservative. It is a Republican administration in the White House and in Congress, and I think that certainly being able to go down and speak the language of policymakers who are in control of the House and committees in the White House has some value. There's names like Jason Kenney, for example. I think Mr. Kenney was a fine minister in the Harper government. I think he would do well as an ambassador. Ron Ambrose is another name that comes up. Lisa Raitt is another name that comes up. So if you're going to go pull the Conservative string, I think that's the path to go. Yeah. What I would not do is appoint a convicted eco-terrorist, Stephen Guilbeault, to head down to the White House.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe they wouldn't even let him in. Maybe they wouldn't let him in.
Well, I'm not sure that's wise. Yeah. But look, Ambassador Hillman was unique. She was a public servant. Yeah. Andy went through the list of the previous ambassadors. David McNaughton had the ear of the Prime Minister, and him being appointed on the basis of the first thing I said, which is made sense, which is he had the ability to pick up the phone and call people in Ottawa when something was happening and to get results. So whoever the Prime Minister, and I think he should I would encourage him to think outside the Liberal box. Whoever he appoints should have his ear. A name like Mark Wiseman has been rumored. Mr. Wiseman is an accomplished financial and investment executive. As long as he has the ear of the Prime Minister, that really is the most important thing. But I think we can be ambitious and think more broadly about who else could serve in that particular role.
I think a name like Jean Charest should be on a short list. I think he's worn many hats. He certainly has shown it over the past few months, a willingness to work productively with Mark Carney. I've done so on a number of files. Highly accomplished, perfectly bilingual. The people of Quebec would probably like that as well. But every name that's thus been listed, all right of center, and I think all highly accomplished, and all would put country well above party to represent us in Washington. So, all right, let's keep this conversation going when we come back, including we're going to talk about Ukraine and the money that has gone in that direction and why it may not be coming back the way it should. Don't go anywhere. Ben Mulroney Show marches on. Thanks so much for watching the show. Now, if you enjoyed what you saw, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another episode of The Ben Mulroney Show.